Whew, okay, so it's been a while. I am attempting to do an updated Life with Linda. Um, Considering I only have like a basic idea of what I'm going to say originally, we will see if this stays a Life with Linda or if it becomes one of the shh ones, because we never know how much is going to come pouring out of my face. Um, a lot has been going on, like a lot. I don't even remember the last one of these I did. Um, so quick-ish recap. Um, Day before Thanksgiving, I had surgery. Turned out that because I've been having knee issues for quite some time, and they did all the things and then the scans and the blah blah blah, and they found that for the right knee, because insurance wouldn't agree to do the, I think it was a CT scan, might have been an MRI, I don't remember, but they wouldn't agree to scan both legs. So we only did imaging of the right leg because it was the worst. And they found that I had meniscus tear, two of them towards the back. And so surgery. So surgery was done the day before Thanksgiving here. And that was something. I had been told that after surgery, I would need to be up and moving around and immediately trying to walk, and it would impact my driving for a minimal amount of time. And when I woke up from surgery, I was in a full leg brace, like from ankle to hip almost. And I was told I am not allowed to put any weight on the foot. And yeah, so that was interesting. The good news of that is that meant they were able to repair it. They didn't just cut it out or scoop it. So they actually repaired the meniscus. So, yay. The bad news is because of all the craziness happening in the States right now, the month of December, the only way I could have insurance was if I had an extra like $700 to pay for the interest. And then, I mean, pay for just the month of insurance. And then I would also still have to pay a new deductible, all this stuff for 1 month. And I don't just happen to have an extra $700 lying around. So I had no insurance for the month after surgery, which meant I could not start physical therapy as early as most people do with this kind of surgery. um, then one of my jobs turned into a full-time job. Yay, finally. And I got insurance through the full-time job. So I have then started physical therapy for the knee. The problem is, whatever's going on with it, the hamstrings and whatnot shrink up, and my leg got stuck at a 27-degree angle, which meant I couldn't straighten it. But then I also couldn't bend it much either. So I couldn't straighten it more than a 27-degree angle, and I couldn't bend it more than 90 degrees. So that's a very small range of movement for the knee. It meant every time I'm trying to walk, I'm like, it was a little crazy, very painful. Um, I have been doing physical therapy since about mid-January. And it is now, as of recording this, March 24th. And my birthday's in 2 days. But so I've been doing physical therapy a bit. I have made a lot of improvement, but I still can't straighten my leg fully and I still can't bend it fully. So my movement is still very limited. Um, it's very frustrating. I have another meeting with the doctor on the 31st. And if he doesn't have some kind of concern and options and ideas about why, no matter how hard I try, it's not getting better. Um, and let me preempt myself on this one. I have done so much work with my leg that my physical therapist is impressed. He can't believe how much I can take because I also ended up with bursitis, and I would be in tears and crying as we're forcing my leg straight, but I keep going past it. I keep doing my own exercises, and every time I show up, he's actually really impressed. So I know I have been working on it. Um, anyway, if the doctor doesn't seem to, I don't know, come up with something, then I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to go to another doctor and make sure that nothing else went wrong. Because at this point, my leg is worse than it was before surgery. So with the tears, I was still able to walk and do things. It would hurt sometimes, and I couldn't like squat all the way down. That's what led to me to go to the doctor was because I was trying to clean my mom's refrigerator, and when I squatted to clean the bottom of the fridge, it felt like an explosion out of the side of my knee, and that's what prompted me to go to the doctor. Um, I can't do any of it. Like I can do less now than I could before surgery. And it's very, very frustrating. How I deal with most of my anxiety is I take long walks. I love to walk. It burns off the excess energy of like, it helps settle my brain, um, all that kind of stuff. And I physically cannot go for my walks. And that is not good for my mental health. Um, Coming back to that mental health again in just a moment. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Um, I know there's something else, but that's the leg one. We'll move on from the leg one. The full-time job. Yay. So, full-time job. Ooh, I do remember one of the last times I did one of these things, I was talking about one of my jobs was closing, and I wasn't supposed to say anything out loud yet. Now I can. So, my in-person job, that I'd had forever, um, that campus closed. Kaput, gone. And I was getting stressed. And then my oldest job for SGSC hired me full time. Yay! The one or two catches is it is nowhere near my house. I drive approximately 4 hours one way. And then I stay overnight somewhere. I teach, I do office hours, I do office hours the following day, and then I drive about 4 hours or so home. I do this every week. Um, it's a bit much. So currently, I leave my house on Tuesday and I return Thursday night. In the fall, it will probably be similar, but I will be teaching in person on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I'm going to have to leave really early Tuesday mornings. And so Tuesdays are going to be exhausting. But, it is what it is. I have a full-time job and I love what I'm doing. The other thing is it's teaching political science. I like political science. I find it fascinating, but it's also not science. So I was really sad when March 2nd came, and that was my very last day in my classroom where I kept teaching for so long and where I taught all my biology classes and where I had a lab and all of that stuff. And so when I left, when I was pushing the chairs under the tables for the last time, um, when I walked out of the building, I was very, very sad because even though I have a full-time job, I was no longer a science teacher. I walked out of that building knowing that I probably wouldn't ever get to teach biology again. And yeah, that was kind of hard. But as of today, I had a phone interview this morning with the same college, but for online. And I will still get to teach environmental science for them online. So that's cool. So I still have the job, slightly different. It's not in person. I don't get to design the course. That's always like me, but I'm still a science teacher. And so, yay, I don't have to let that go. Um, Here I teach political science, and that means I have to keep up with the news even more so than normal. And I live in the United States, and things are crazy and scary. And that part is very much not good for my mental health. And I can't go for walks to deal with it. Um, Watching the state of our country makes me want to cry, like almost every day. Each news thing that I see, all the things that come popping up, what is it? Notifications. Um, each one, all I keep thinking is, I don't even understand where we live anymore. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why there's so much hate. I don't understand when humanity, not just the US, but when humanity turned such a corner that it is might means right and power above all. I don't understand how so many people who have almost nothing are willing to have even less so those who have so much can have more. It's the logic doesn't work in my brain. And I'm covering all this and talking about politics and making my students talk about all of it and forcing them to think. I will not tell anybody what to think, but I give all the facts. And if somebody says, well, I heard XYZ, I then say, okay, let's look it up. Is that a fact? And that's what I feel like is the only thing I can do because it's not up to me to change people's opinions or tell anyone what to think. But I want people to actually think, not just do what other people tell them to do. I have never understood the well, that I've never understood a quick little glance at something and thinking I knew it. I have never understood somebody saying this is what it is and not questioning it. And so I even tell my class to double check me. When I tell you something, check it. Hold me accountable. Do not believe anything that comes out of my mouth just because I'm saying it. Look it up. And it's been fun. Loving my classes, like seriously. I like my students. Some of them might drive me a little crazy, but for the most part, I really like it. I'm having fun seeing them ask more questions and bring more current topics. I'm thinking of asking my boss there if we can have a class of just current topics. Um, maybe have it be an elective or something because my students want to talk. They are fascinated. They come in there and say, did you read this? Did you read that? What about this? And they didn't do that in January. And it's only the end of March. And they are like invested in what's happening. And that's exciting. But that means I have to look at the news a lot. And the news is overwhelming. And I have to take breaks because I have often described myself as a cynical optimist. And the current state of things is severely testing the optimist part. And I'm reading a book right now from Dinar Kuntz called Devoted. And there is a character in there. I think it was Bella. She's a dog. Dude, just read Kuntz. And she makes a comment in her, she's thinking about stuff and about how the entire nature of life is to protect the innocent. And that's literally what I've always thought. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's not what we're doing right now. Right now, it's more like trying to force everybody here to be a certain way. And if you don't match it, you need to go. I don't match it. So many of the things that are being said are horrible, I fall under. Um, there's like no science in the US anymore. It's mind-boggling. And the things that people would rather believe instead of actual fact, I don't get it. I I just we're watching gosh, so much. I don't even know where to start. I really don't. But on the logic train, I'm just going to throw out the fact that we have children dying of measles now when we had it almost eradicated because So many people are so afraid their kids are going to be like me that they'd rather they get measles and die, even though the vaccine does not cause autism. I I don't get it. I just legit don't get it. Um, I don't understand the stupidity. I don't understand this here. You have to use beef tallow. The worst thing for you, seed oil. No, it's not. Like there is so much science backing the health benefits of things like olive oil and peanut oil and some of these things. There are so many scientific papers and studies and everything about how unhealthy consumption of saturated fats like beef tallow are. But we have some moron that's been placed in office who has no training and no knowledge of anything having to do with health or nutrition, saying what is supposed to be healthy and nutritious. And while they're pushing for women to stop getting educated and instead have more babies, we're swapping all the health stuff, taking away vaccines, and kids are dying. Where does any of this make sense? If you really think we're supposed to have more kids, why not protect them and do things healthy? I don't get it. I don't get it. It is so stupid. And I'm very tired of people going, yeah, but haven't you seen? Haven't you heard? Don't you know? Dude, I have degrees in this stuff. Yes, I do know. Do you? I'm tired of people who slept through science class, who think science is boring, trying to say what science actually means. I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, I have had to, in my entire life, quite a few times, accept the fact that things I don't like might still be true. That's the nature of humanity. It's not going to always be something you want. That's just life. Like, okay, let's roll back around to that surgery on my knee. Um, I would like to believe that if you're going to have surgery, it's automatically going to make everything better. Not always, you know? So my brain's not doing so good with the news and the state of our country. Um, it really, it really bothers me. Let's see. Okay. I don't think I said yet that in December, Chris gave me a kitten for Christmas. His name is Cinnamon. He is named after a character in a book series. Um, Heretical fishing is the main part, but then there's more to the name, and it's something like Guide to Annoying the Colts and Alienating Oneself, something like that. But heretical fishing, if you look that up, you'll find it. And that's who Cinnamon's named after, is a character in there whose obviously name is Cinnamon. And dude, be careful when you name something. It's like they have to become that personality. But to be fair, cinnamon popped into my head because it felt right. So maybe it was fortuitous. Um, Osiris is not a big fan of cinnamon. We're having to do some serious training because cinnamon's getting huge and likes to attack Osiris. I think most of the time Cinnamon thinks he's playing, but Osiris does not like it. And so we're working on training with that. And then at the end of January, Chris moved in. And so Chris brought in Tweak and Katniss. Tweak just passed a couple of weeks ago. And so now it's just Chris and Katniss. And we're working on fixing up a bunch of stuff at the house. So we've definitely got a full house. Um, but it's fun. It's interesting. It's very full right now. And since we're fixing things up, it's just like constant stuff. Eventually, eventually it'll be better. Um, Let's see what else. What else? Okay. I had this thought when I talked about the environmental science thing. So there's this thing called Climate Reality Project. And if you have ever watched An Inconvenient Truth and An Inconvenient Sequel, in an inconvenient sequel, you'll see the little green circle pin that Al Gore and a few other people are wearing. Way back when, because I always showed those in my classes. And when I was looking at that pin, I became obsessed about finding out about the pin. And I finally found out that you could only get the pin by going through the training for the Climate Reality Project. So then during the pandemic, I did the online training session for it. I got my pin. Yay. And I do my best to try to keep up with it. I don't do nearly enough. I already know this. Um, but randomly we get, the news and the stuff that comes through. And I got the email where they asked for volunteers for doing a mentorship. And I applied and I got it. Yay. So I believe it's April 30th to May 2nd, they are doing another training session in Nashville, Tennessee. And I get to be a mentor there. So I get to work more with environment stuff. So the hippie in me is very, very happy. Um, hmm. I swear I know there's more, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, it's so funny. This is like oh yeah, and by the way, I started a new med for rheumatoid arthritis. So that's a thing. And we're gonna see how that goes, see if it helps. And yeah, I think that's enough for now because it's late and I kind of want to just watch shows and chill, do my puzzles, and go to bed because tomorrow I get up and I pack stuff up and I go teach and then I hit the road and try to get home, hopefully before traffic gets horrible, because my birthday present to myself this year is to go home and spend the day with my kitties and just chill. And the only way I can do that is to leave right after work. So tomorrow's going to be a long day. So I think I'm ready for just chill time. And yeah, I think that's good. Um, I'm going to try to come up with a better, like, really fill you in or more whatever of a life with Lynda because so many crazy things have happened. And I was just on this one trying to get you caught up with the basics. So I guess that is it. Until next time, peace out.